We begin with Madeleine Rivera, who has brand new details from Maduro's court appearance and the next steps in Washington. Hi, Maddie.
Good morning, Carly and Todd. Trump administration officials are now answering a lot of questions from congressional lawmakers. There's an all-member briefing on Venezuela tomorrow that follows a briefing last night for a smaller group of people known as the Gang of Eight, which is comprised of the House and Senate leaders of both parties, as well as the top lawmakers for the intelligence committees in both chambers. And Republicans and Democrats have very different takeaways. House Speaker Mike Johnson says the U.S. is not at war with Venezuela and wants the country's behavior to change.
And an arrest warrant was duly issued. And now he has learned what accountability looks like. Under President Trump, the United States will no longer allow criminal regimes to profit from wreaking havoc and destruction on our country. He's putting Americans first and succeeding where others have failed.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer indicates he's worried the same kind of operation could extend beyond Venezuela.
This briefing, while very extensive and long, posed far more questions than it ever answered. Their plan for the U.S. running Venezuela is vague, based on wishful thinking, and unsatisfying. I did not receive any assurances that we would not try to do the same thing in other countries.
Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, were defiant when they appeared in federal court on Monday. Maduro saying, "My name is President Nicolas Maduro Moros, president of Venezuela. I am here kidnapped, and I am here since January 3rd, Saturday. I was captured at my home in Caracas, Venezuela. I am innocent. I am not guilty. I am a decent human." But Attorney General Pam Bondi says the Maduros are responsible for many deaths and should face justice.
We know that this monster released countless defendants, prisons, insane asylums into our country. It's not just about drugs. The president saved thousands, countless lives tonight, countless lives in the drug trade, but he also protected Americans from the TDA members who Maduro let into our country.
Maduro and his wife are scheduled to appear in court again on March 17th. Carly and Tom.
All right, Madeleine Rivera live for us in Washington. Maddie, thank you. Let's bring in constitutional attorney Mark Smith to talk more about this. Mark, good morning to you. There was a unique breadcrumb during yesterday's initial court appearance by Nicolas Maduro and his wife, and it's that Maduro's lawyer, and we can get into the background of him in just a moment, but he hinted at a possible defense for Maduro, saying there are issues about the legality of his military abduction, suggesting the U.S. government violated law by capturing him, so he shouldn't stand trial. What do you think about that defense?
Carly, I don't think that's going to go anywhere. What happened yesterday proves the point that there is no international law. And at the end of the day, the only law that's going to matter is American trial law, American criminal law. If you commit a crime that impacts the United States, you can be brought to the United States and you can be tried. And that's exactly what happened here. And keep in mind, this is not a situation, Carly, where he can claim to be the president of Venezuela, because even the Biden administration and the European Union views him as not a legitimate president. He was essentially a dictator who was de facto ruling the country, but had no lawful authority to do so. So he doesn't have the same arguments that, let's say, Manuel Noriega had in the late 1980s to say, hey, I'm the president of the country, because he wasn't.
I would just add a few more points on that. You're hearing a lot of people on the left echoing what we heard from Maduro's lawyer, that this was a kidnapping and abduction. Let's be clear, this was an arrest. That's first point. Second, to your point, diplomatic versus criminal are two different things. He is making a diplomatic argument in court. And to your point, at the core, this is a drug and drug conspiracy case. It is not a diplomatic case. So we need to be clear-minded on that. Let's go to more on what the Attorney General said. She was on Hannity last night, and she said nothing is off the table. Mark, what could she be referring to when she says nothing's off the table?
Well, I think, Todd, there's really two levels here. There's the legal case, and then there's, let's say, the international politics case. When it comes to the legal case, what I think Attorney General Pam Bondi is thinking is that, there's probably going to be a lot of senior ranking officials in the Venezuelan government who work with the Venezuelan government who are likely going to cut a deal with the U.S. government to say, look, if you don't put me in prison, if you don't indict me, if you cut me a great deal, I will in turn testify against the Maduros in American court in New York. So there's that level. And then, of course, there's the politics level, which is, obviously, if you're a Venezuelan official and then you get a phone call from Secretary of State Marco Rubio and ask you to do a favor for him or to help him out in some respect, I would say it's not a bad idea to go along with that because of the possibility that you could be arrested if there's something you've done wrong in the past. If you committed a crime in the past and you want some sort of immunization, if you will, some protection from the U.S. government to not be tried in America, then you might be more inclined to do what the United States government asks you to do.
Maduro has acquired the services of attorney Barry Pollock. He's a New York City-based attorney. We have a little bit of his highlight reel. Over 30 years of experience, Georgetown University Law Center adjunct professor. He also negotiated a plea deal for Julian Assange, which is very notable. Maybe give us your insight on Mr. Pollock and also what we can expect to happen next in this case.
Well, I think the entire criminal bar, the federal criminal bar in New York City is just excellent. There's some of the best lawyers in the country, and I have zero doubt that Maduro is going to get excellent legal counsel at both the two levels, Carly, both in terms of arguing effectively, maybe not successfully, but effectively in court itself, and also probably another level of lawyers being able to communicate with the administration, maybe in an attempt to cut some sort of a plea deal. What we can expect next, I think, is from the point of view of Maduro, he's going to start filing motions asking that the case be dismissed on various grounds, and at the same time, the Department of Justice will oppose that. But in terms of the factual development, and this is a big deal, the Trump administration is going to have to work hard to pull together witnesses and documents and evidence to present in court to show that Maduro did commit the crimes he's accused of committing in this indictment. And keep in mind that to the extent there's evidence that is procured through, let's say, the CIA and the intelligence community, some of that evidence may have to be vetted to make sure that super high top secret information that is otherwise classified does not sort of improperly or dangerously revealed in public. That is always a danger when you're dealing with an international criminal case. You want to be careful if you have confidential informants overseas and you use some of that information. You want to make sure that does not reveal things that the U.S. government, for example, does not want revealed that could cause harm to national security.
Yeah, presidents, regardless of their legitimacy, do have a lot of information. So I was wondering about the idea of a plea deal. We will see how all of this unfolds. Next court appearance, as Maddie said, March 17th. Mark Smith, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your expertise, as always.
Thanks, Carly.
All right, so from Venezuela to the Middle East, protests are swelling in Iran as President Trump puts the Ayatollah's regime on notice.
NATO Ambassador Matt Whitaker here with how the White House should respond. Next.
My moderate to severe Crohn's symptoms kept me out of the picture. Now I have Skyrizi.
I've got places to go and I'm feeling free. Controlling the Crohn's means everything to me. Controlling everything to me.
And now I'm back in the picture. Skyrizi is the only IL-23 inhibitor proven to help achieve remission, meaning few to no symptoms in just 4 weeks for some people. Many were in remission at 12 weeks, at 1 year, and even at 4 years. Plus, Skyrizi is proven to help visibly repair damage of the intestinal lining.
Don't use if allergic. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and TB. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.